Hi, it's David Johnson from Grow the Dream. Today on Marketing Monday, we're tackling the question, how can you tell if your lead magnets are working? Okay, so hopefully by now you have a lead magnet installed on your website. If not, then check out our previous Marketing Monday topic, how to create a killer lead magnet, and it'll go into great detail for you, especially the blog post that goes along with that Marketing Monday topic. Today, we're looking at a blog post that's written by our very own Paul Rose Jr., and it's entitled, What Metrics Should You Use to Evaluate Your Lead Magnets? So just in case this whole idea is new to you, here's what we mean by a lead magnet. A lead magnet is anything that you publish on your website that you make available for people to download. Now, it's for free, but that doesn't mean that anybody just cruising by can download it. What you do instead is you set up an opt-in form that they need to fill out. So either they provide their name and their email address, or maybe just their email address, depending on your form and how it's all set up. And that once they provided their email address, you make this content available to them. Now, as always with Grow the Dream, by now you've probably figured out we always start with strategy. So the very first piece of this blog post answers the question, why do I even need to measure my internet marketing? And Paul does a fantastic job. I'm not going to read that to you. I encourage you to check out the blog post. But it boils down to this very simple idea that if you can measure the impact you're having, then you can improve it and get better results moving forward. So you definitely want to set up some metrics so that you can tell how things are going with your lead magnets. And the very first metric that Paul identifies in this blog post is this. What is the percentage of people who visit your website who then exchange their email address with you for the lead magnet? And so this is something we call the opt-in rate. And you might measure it site-wide. So every visitor to your website counts if you offer the lead magnet on every page of your website. And then the number of people who actually fill out your form becomes a number that you can compare against the total number of visitors, and you end up with an opt-in rate or a percentage. So this becomes a percentage. Now, another way to do this, though, is to set up a dedicated landing page for your lead magnet. And this is something that we highly recommend, especially if you're going to use any kind of advertising to pay for traffic to come check out your offer. Because this way, you don't lose people visiting other pages on your site. You only have the people that come to the offer itself that you measure your opt-in rate by. And so let's say that 100 people visit your dedicated landing page where you have your lead magnet being offered. And if 5 of them fill out your form, then you have a 5% opt-in rate. And that becomes a very useful metric for you to tell how your offer is working. Now, the second metric that Paul identifies here is one that looks at the question, what is a percentage of people who exchange their email address with you and then proceed in the second step to download your lead magnet? Now, this makes an assumption about how your offer is set up. So you can do this a couple of different ways, but what we're recommending here is that when people fill out your form, so let's say Sally comes to your website, she types in her first name, Sally, and she provides her email address, sally@myemail.com or whatever it is. And then your system in turn sends Sally an email automatically, and that email has a link for her to download your free report. That's a 2-step process. It's different from maybe just redirecting Sally as soon as she fills out your form to the PDF or the page where all of this gated content, your lead magnet content, is located on your website. By sending an email instead, what you do is you accomplish 2 things. One is you identify, yes, this is a legitimate email address, so someone can't just cruise by your website, type in anything, any email address, batman@aol.com, let's say, and then get redirected to your content. So number 1, you've confirmed it's a legitimate email address. Number 2 is it allows you to really measure. So did Sally open that email, and did Sally click the link? Now, the first email you send should only have 1 link in it. You may have other content in there if you wish, but only 1 link. And this allows you to confirm that, yes, when Sally got email number 1, she clicked that link and she downloaded the free report. So that becomes another metric. Believe it or not everyone who gives you their name and email address is going to download your report. So this gives you a very useful metric. Now, Paul, in this blog post, identifies a handful of other really useful metrics that will allow you to make the determination about whether your lead magnet is as successful for you as it could be. And there are lots of other metrics than even we get into in here. And so depending on what kind of system you're using, you may use Google Analytics, which will help you identify whether people actually visit your site, how many people visit the page or pages that your offer is located on, and then how many people fill out your form. You can usually get that opt-in rate directly from Google Analytics. For the second metric we talked about, you're going to need to look at MailChimp if that's the system you're using. It's got some great reporting tools. And by the way, MailChimp is a great system to use when you're first getting started with email and marketing automation. If you're a more advanced user, you might have Infusionsoft, and it does some fantastic things like tracking the performance of leads over time. It allows you to do things like determine the lifetime value of a lead or a customer. Lots of really useful stuff in there. So that's where we're going to wrap it up for today. There are lots of other metrics that are talked about in this post, and so I want to encourage you to please check out today's blog post for more on that. And if you find yourself scratching your head or you've got questions about what we're talking about today, remember, Marketing Monday is all about you and empowering you to be more successful in growing your business. So if you have a question, then please, I urge you, whether you're here on YouTube or on our Facebook page watching this video, pop your question into the comments. If you have something you'd like to add, drop that in there as well. We'll do our best to answer every question that comes through. And if your question is big enough, we might even make a future Marketing Monday topic just about your question. So I want to urge you to jump in there. We truly do believe in making this as valuable as possible as a resource for you. And I look forward to seeing you next time on Marketing Monday.